Well, it is an overcast morning here in my Southern California garden, and I just wanted to come out and take a look at my Protea Pink Ice shrubs, which I planted probably about 3 years ago from 1-gallon pots that I purchased at the Temecula Farmers Market. Actually, I should say that these 3 bushes were purchased from the Temecula Farmers Market from the Resendiz brothers. And the 2 at the far end that kind of look more in these tree-like structures were actually purchased later on after I had 2 that died. But I wanted to come out here right now because they are all budded up. So these are pink ices, which you can see these buds are pretty large right now. Still not quite ready to pick. I've read that the tips of the bud should be open and fluffy before you actually pick them. That one's almost ready. Maybe this one. Not quite open at the top, but a really beautiful structure. And you can kind of see all over this plant. They're all at different stages, so this one's a lot smaller, a lot tight. Feels kind of like a pine cone, actually. This one I'm planning on cutting off this bottom stem here. I'm just waiting for that bud to open. I'll collect the flower and I'll probably cut it off down here. I don't want this one to branch, so I might cut it even farther over here. And over here, this one's equally budded up. Now it's taken about 3 years for this plant to actually form any flowers, mainly because I pruned it right after planting. But also because it took me a long time just to figure out how to get these things to bud up. The first year they formed buds, the buds actually kind of molded and dropped off. And it took me a while to actually realize that these guys love to form stems right underneath where the bud is being formed. And these stems tend to grow into long terminal branches, like these over here. But when they form right under the bud, it doesn't provide the bud stem with enough energy to form the actual flower. So you have to come in and break those off. And I didn't realize that until this year. So there's a really beautiful branch structure there. This one is just about ready to pick. Again, it's almost like some of the other more traditional flowers where you feel it and it's supposed to feel kind of like a marshmallow. I think that's what I'm looking for here, but look at this. Look at how many buds are coming up on this plant. So again, this is a 3-year-old Protea Pink Ice, Protea nerifolia. And I really think in the 3rd year, this was helped out because you can see here, I put in this drip line probably around year 2, probably a little later. It's probably why my other 2 died. Even in Southern California, where our conditions are really good for planting these proteas, they do need excess irrigation. So the first year I was hand watering the smaller 1-gallon plants. Didn't work out so well. But drip irrigation here seems to have done the trick. So these are my 3 shrubs that I've pruned from day 1. Here's my Grevillea Moonlight, planted just over 2 months ago, 3 months ago, doing really well. And then here are the Protea Pink Ice that were purchased a little bit later than the first 3. These were also purchased and planted from 1-gallon pots, but their forms were a little bit longer. So I was a little bit scared to actually go ahead and come in and prune them right from the get-go. And if I come in closer on one of them, you can see why. They came in with these long stems. And so you can see here, when I got them originally, they actually had a bud on them, on the terminal stem. And I did not want to cut it, but I should have, because in the end, this bud never opened. It basically rotted on the branch, set out these other 3 branches, and now this thing is tall like a tree. But look, a bud. And look over here, another little bud. So we're about in the beginning of September here in Southern California, so I imagine that these proteas will keep blooming all through the fall. So I will try to do another little update when they are ready to be picked.